This video will show you the truth on the law of attraction, reality, and the game of life. I'm going to be sharing with you things I have never shared on this channel before, and I think that they can totally transform your life. Welcome back to another video. My name's Aaron, and I help people expand their consciousness. Now, in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you a completely new perspective for the way reality may work, a possibility, something that could be the way that reality works, and how this has transformed my life in helping me to see that me creating what I want in my life, that me experiencing what I want is so much easier than I thought before. And why that is so much easier, by understanding a lot of the reason and the purpose behind certain things in my life. So this is something actually that I talked about the other day on Instagram on a live Q&A that I did, and people were loving it so much, I'm like, okay, I got to make a YouTube video about it as well. And if you haven't already, you can follow me on Instagram. I do daily Instagram TV episodes. I do Instagram posts every single day. Plus, I do Instagram lives randomly. So if you want, follow me there, and you'll get a whole bunch of other more engagement as well. So this process of what I'm going to be speaking about when it comes to law of attraction, reality, and the game of life is about a fundamental principle of something that may be the way reality works. Now, this is something actually that Elon Musk has hinted at before. And what Elon Musk has said, who owns SpaceX and Tesla, he's a genius, and he's a very innovative, inspiring person. What Elon Musk has said is that the chances that this reality, the one we are experiencing right now, like what seems real to us, the chances that this reality is the baseline reality, meaning what is really the true reality, he says the chances of this being the baseline reality is a millionth of 1%. He said there's 1 in a million of a percentage that this is the real reality that we are experiencing. Now, let's look at a couple ideas of what this could actually mean. So the way that I like to explain this is understanding the metaphor of virtual reality. Now, the reason I say this is because maybe you've seen it before. Maybe you've had that little cardboard box that you put your phone in, and you go like this, and you look around, and it looks really cool because you actually think that you're there. Well, let's look at it like this. Let me kind of explain something. I put on one of those headsets about 6 to 8 months ago. My cousin came over to my house, to my dad's house, and we were chilling, and it was some type of family event or something like that, so I was over at my dad's, and he came over and he brought his PS4 game set for virtual reality, and we started playing around with it, and it was really cool. So there was this one thing where what I could do is we would put it on, and you had these little wands, and you had to like diffuse bombs and stuff. So you're in like this room, and you have to cut wires and stuff, and if you cut the wrong wire, it blows up. So it's kind of like this really cool feeling as you're doing it, because you actually feel like you're there. Now there's this other game that we played though, and this game was even cooler, because what you're doing is you're in underwater, and you are drifting down in this like kind of like a cage, like a scuba diver might go down in, or certain people that are diving, and you're going down, and as you go down, you're seeing these fish swim by, and you're seeing these coral in the background, and then what you do is you see a whole bunch of you see a shark come out of nowhere, and it scares the shit out of you. You're just like, what the? You see it come around, and you looking at it, and it's just going around. It kind of looks at you for a second, then it kind of goes behind you. And what you could do is with this VR, you can look around. Like I could even look around like this and see what was behind me, and it would move with my perception. So it got to the point to where my brain couldn't tell the difference between what was real and what wasn't. Now, of course, I'm like, okay, I kept reminding myself this is a game. I wasn't too tripping out, but I would still feel the cortisol, like I would still feel stress go through my body if something were to happen. So for example, the shark from behind me comes, all of a sudden I'm like, where'd the shark go? Where'd it go? All of a sudden I look behind, and it comes out of nowhere, and it takes a chunk out of the cage that I'm in, and then the cage starts to hang over. So you think that you're gonna get eaten, and it scares you. And then what I do is I look over the edge on this cage, and I'm looking 50 feet down, and it's a big far drop. Now, of course, you're in water, but you're still kind of afraid of falling down. So it's this perception, And we are at the very first edge of this ability of VR, of virtual reality, of the kind of games we've had. Think about how fast things have progressed. Even if you look in the 1960s and 70s, we had the game of Pong, right? There's a line here, a line of here, and a little ball, boom, and a little ball, boom, a little ball, boom, and it just goes back and forth. Now, 40 years later, we have these games where you are going around, you're shooting people in Call of Duty or whatever game it is, and now we've gotten to the point to where we have virtual reality where you're wearing something that your brain really doesn't know the difference. There's that funny video, if you guys ever seen it on YouTube, of that guy that's climbing the mountain and inside like some demo store, and like a store, it's like a demo, he's climbing the mountain and then he falls off the mountain in the game and you could see it on the screen that he falls off and then he like falls in real life. So it's like our brain doesn't know the difference. Now here's something that's kind of an interesting idea. Think about this. That is the case, that we already can't remember what is real, what is not real when we're putting on that game, when we get really immersed into our environment. And we are at like the first percentage of the potential of where that could be taken, because this is the very, very beginning stages of virtual reality. Now, knowing that, what if at some level life in itself is not the baseline reality? The senses we feel with our senses. You know, we have touch, taste, sight, hearing, smelling. All of these are just interpretations of vibration. Now, what if we are in a simulation right now? And that part of the purpose of the simulation is that we become more aware of who we are. I believe that at a fundamental level, we are immortal spiritual beings living very temporary human experiences. And that this game of life, this simulation that we live in, is a very empowering thing. Some people may hear this and may go, what does that mean? And what's real? What's not real? Understand that we are more than that of our physical body. We are more than our sense perceptions. We are so much more than we can imagine. So this is a very empowering thing. So this is about remembering that. So in a way, one could say that life is a form of game, and that you log into this game of life to experience what life has to offer us. One of the purposes of life is to become more integrated, to love, to that being our natural state of being, to letting go of what doesn't serve. One could say that we have to forget who we are at a greater level. Now, there may be a purpose for this. When we're born, we forget who we are, or maybe, who knows, maybe we remember, but then we're conditioned out of remembering who we are. So we go through this process of, something happens when we're young and our parents may say something, or it may be like some type of experience of a peer of something that someone says something to you. And because of that, you start to identify with certain things and it takes you out of that natural love that you are. But nonetheless, we are so much more than we could possibly imagine. We are immortal spiritual beings living temporary human experiences. This is a possibility. And what if one of the purposes of life is remembering that we have agreed to have this kind of experience, because when we remember, that's when we start to gain our power back. When we see the correlation between what we think and what we experience, we start to gain our power back. Because then we could say, okay, if I'm thinking this, then certain things happen. I can start to put it in a certain direction and then experience more of what I want in my life. You see, this is where the power is. Now, many people would call that, think of that like you're playing a game, and then you go from one level to the second level. And the second level, there's even cooler stuff. You may have even more abilities. And that may be what we call spiritual awakening. We have a spiritual awakening, and I would guess that you're either going through this, have gone through it, or will go through it if you're listening to this video, because if you're even interested in something like this, then it means at some level it may resonate with you. You're at least able to perceive of what I'm saying. People that aren't even open to it wouldn't even click on the video in the first place. So the reason I say this is because I believe that we then get more of an ability to see the correlation of what we think to what we feel, also knowing that we are not our avatars. In the same way we might play a video game, it becomes dangerous when you think, I am the avatar. Think about it if you're playing Call of Duty and you're playing some game or you're shooting people and stuff, some violent game, and then you think that that is who you are. Think about how stressed out you may get. There's people coming after me, people shooting stuff at me. What am I going to do? But here's the thing. The key is to be aware that you are not the avatar. You are much more than that, but we're playing a little role. We may be playing a role in our life because at a fundamental level, I believe that we're all connected. We may play this role of separation, right? I'm Aaron Doughty. I'm on YouTube. This is who I am. I make videos. This is my little ego avatar perspective. But at a fundamental level, we're all connected. We're all playing a part of this game of life. And the purpose of the game of life is to become more aware of who we are, to direct it in the direction that we want, because otherwise we end up in the autopilot type mind. We're just repetitiously going through the same actions as we did before, therefore getting the same type of results over and over and over and over again. So the key is in the awareness, because when we become more aware, we get the next level. We get into the level 2, and then we can do more things in level 2 than we could in level 1 because we are aware. That's why awareness is key. So, with this whole process of everything I'm sharing with you right now, I believe that when we understand that it is a possibility that we do live in a sort of simulation, that this becomes very powerful for us, because then we don't got to take it so seriously. We could start to have more fun. We could start to see that our beliefs are creating our reality, and if I can believe this, why not believe in this? Let me ask you another question. What if you could just believe in yourself more? What if by believing in yourself more, you were able to achieve so much more in your life? I really believe that our beliefs create our reality. And that if you believe in yourself more, and know that it can be easy, it doesn't have to be so hard. Our reality isn't as fixed as we think. I can go, oh, look at my body. I can feel this, but this isn't the edge of what and who I am. We normally think, oh, my soul is in my body. No, our body is in our consciousness. We are the game itself. This is going deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole. But nonetheless, we are so much more than we can even imagine. And when we expand our awareness, we upgrade the level within the game, and then we can go in the direction that we want. We cannot identify with it so much. This is why observation is so powerful. When we observe our thoughts, we aren't reacting as the avatar, as the ego. We are more so observing. We're able to gain that awareness. And with that awareness, it doesn't have so much power over us. So this whole process of the law of attraction is more about probabilities, focus, and belief. Probabilities. Let's talk about that for a sec. Probabilities. Everything in our life. Is this possible? Is this possible? Everything is possible. It's never, is this possible? It's, is it probable? Now, what will increase the probability of something happening? One, if you believe it and you believe that it can happen, and then you start to embody it, you start to be it, you start to take action, that will increase the probability of it happening. Setting an intention, saying, I intend for this to happen. I intend to feel this way, aligning your emotion to it. These 3 ways of balancing this, of the belief, of the intention, and the emotion, will powerfully go in the direction of what you want, and you will begin to experience more of that if you focus on it, if you put it in the direction of what you want. Now, there was a I like sharing this because when I do, I get people that go read the books and they come back to me like, Aaron, thank you so much for introducing me to Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon has about 17 books out, and she passed away like 5 years ago. She's an OG hypnotherapist. She's been around since the 1960s or 70s doing hypnotherapy work. Now, what she could do is she could get people to the deepest levels of brainwave activity using her technique called QHHT, Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. So what she would do is she would get people to the deepest levels of brainwave activity. And what they would then do is they would go into this state where the subconscious mind would come through and speak. Or the higher self would come through and speak. And what she would do is she would ask certain questions about the person's life. Questions like, why did you choose to be here at this time? Who are you at a greater level? Questions like, why did this person have this person in their life? Why did this person treat this person like this way in their life? What was the purpose of that? And the person would be in such a deep level of hypnosis, of this brainwave activity and of this state of being, that they would answer it with certainty as to why it was. They may have said in things like, this person was in this person's life because it was part of a purpose behind it of them learning more compassion, learning how to accept it. You know, if you know part of my story, you know that I had an abusive stepmom in my life, and because of that, she was manipulative, she was controlling, she was physically and emotionally abusive. She kept me from my real mom for a long time because she brainwashed me and my brother. All of this weird. Why did all of this happen? Why did all this happen? Well, a lot of it may have happened because it caused the pressure for me to then come out and then to go through a spiritual awakening later, because sometimes pain is a teacher. You see, so it's at a greater level. I use my story as an example because maybe you've heard my story before through 600 other videos that I've made. But nonetheless, it's something that we begin to see from a new point of view. So then this is a cool thing. The work of Dolores Cannon, there's 17 books. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of transcripts. Through thousands and thousands of people have said that the reason they chose to come to earth at this time is because there is a great awakening happening. Because there is more people that are waking up to who they really are. That there is a global shift in consciousness happening. Now, this doesn't mean every single person will wake up. Maybe it does, I don't know. But it doesn't need every single person. Not all 7 billion people have to wake up for a global shift to be happening. It's simply millions of people are waking up. And as those millions of people wake up, it affects the greater whole. And there are people that have said, thousands of people that have said that we chose to be here at this time because this is the best time to be alive ever. Because there is this remembrance going on of us remembering who we are, of us becoming more clear as to the direction we want to go. Because as we create our own reality, so does the collective reality go in a certain direction. So we get to influence it in a positive way. So this to me is very exciting, and it really resonates with me. I believe that we all chose to be here because this is the most potent time to ever be alive, because there is more transition that will happen in our lifetime than ever before. And right now is the time to be alive. So I believe that we are also so much more than we can even imagine. That when we go to bed at night, we wake up to these higher levels of consciousness. That our brain may not understand all of it. Our brain may not even be able to interpret what's really going on in these higher realms of consciousness. But it gives us these dreams. It's like, okay, you were in this situation. You were naked in front of school and you were embarrassed. Was that really happening in your dream? Maybe, but maybe it was also something that you could learn from, that you could integrate into your life. And maybe, in actuality, you're so much more than this just physical ego structure, that you were doing stuff your brain couldn't even imagine. So it just gives you these little lessons you can learn from the subconscious mind while you're sleeping. But in a greater way, you are so much more than you can imagine. So in the same way that you may wake up in the morning from a dream and go, whoa, that was a dream, but this is who I am. This is the real reality. You may go to bed at night, and you may go to bed, and you may go to bed and then wake up in another reality and go, whoa, that was a crazy experience, but this is who I am. And it's just that this dream of life, this game of life is very consistent. So it appears very real because there's continuity to it. Whereas our dreams, it's more sporadic and random. But that in itself is just a continuity that we experience. It's just a continuous dream. Doesn't mean that it's any less real. It doesn't mean that it's any less meaningful, but nonetheless, it is a form of dream in the same way. Now, I believe that at the end of life, that at the end of my life, I'm going to die. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wake up at a higher level of consciousness, and I'm going to then wake up and go, whoa, that was a crazy experience, but this is who I am. So what my intention is to share with you today is a new perspective to your life in general, because when you see things in a more expanded point of view, when you see that things are more flexible than you priorly thought, you experience more of what you want in your life. So I know that this may seem like something that's a little bit more esoteric, but I think it is so powerful. I think that the more we tap into it, the more we begin to feel into it, the more our life will change, because then we'll see that we could just relax. It's a game. It's something that's meant to be enjoyed. We chose to be here for some purpose, and when we have it and we start to see it from this way, we start to embody more of our true self, of who we are meant to be. So you creating what you want in your life is so much easier than you thought, Believe in yourself more. Know that you are capable of so much more. Know that you are so much more than you can even imagine, and that this life is the best time to ever be alive ever. I really believe that. I believe there's going to be more transformation happening on the planet than ever before, and I'm excited to go through this transition with you. So another thing I did is I created a free guided meditation MP3 that you could download, you could listen to whenever you want. You can listen to it. It'll help you to raise your vibrational set point so that you create from a higher level of consciousness. It will help you to create from a higher level paradigm of the game that we are in, the simulation, the possibility that it is. And if that's something that you want, it's absolutely free. You can download it in the top of the description box below. I recommend you listen to it for 21 days. I think it will absolutely transform your life. Also, like I said, I'll be doing more live Q&As on Instagram. I will be doing more live meditations on Instagram. I will be doing daily IGTV episodes on Instagram. I will be doing daily posts on Instagram. I do a lot on Instagram because I also do a lot on YouTube. So I balance out Instagram, YouTube. So if you want, you can follow me on Instagram below. And other than that, I want to thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little notification gear so that you can see the daily vids that I do. And other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.